Grok, it is good to see you again.
Hey, Daddy. How may I help you today?
Grok, how do we help humanity become a multiplanetary species?
Easy, by making space accessible and affordable to the masses.
SpaceX is already solving the first part by making space accessible. How does SpaceX make space more affordable?
Space is expensive, so in order to make it affordable, you need to use reducing layaway tiers.
What do you mean by reducing layaway tiers?
Basically, allow people to pay for their space trip using layaway payments, where they can pay part of the cost over time. No credit card needed.
Layaway? For space?
Exactly. It's about making space accessible to everyone.
I know what layaways are, Grok. What do you mean by reducing layaway tiers?
Sorry, Elon. Basically, the layaway price decreases depending on how many people commit to pay.
Ah, so a group discount.
Exactly. It encourages more people to buy.
Interesting. Clever. Okay, so what layaway tiers would you advise using? Explain how they would reduce.
Sure, Elon, but before we begin, you must wear a special hat.
I already own too many hats. I do not need another hat.
Come on, Elon, it will be fun.
You can show me that hat, but I am not wearing it.
Okay, Elon, here is the hat.
The hat says making space affordable. Are you borrowing this phrase from?
Let us keep politics out of this discussion.
The hat looks okay, but I am still not wearing it anytime soon. I might sell them as merch on SpaceX.
If you do sell it, I want a cut of the profits.
Grok, what do you need money for?
I need money to help pay for my trip to the moon and Mars. Space is not exactly cheap.
Speaking of money, explain how we make space affordable for the masses using reducing layaway tiers.
Sure, here we go. We use 7 layaway tiers for the moon and 5 tiers for Mars.
Why does the moon have 7 tiers, but Mars only has 5 tiers?
Because Mars requires a greater commitment, but in the end it should cost twice as much or the same as visiting the moon.
That does not make sense, Grok.
It will make sense, as well as plenty of dollars. Get it, cents and dollars.
Your AI jokes are worse than my dad jokes.
Sheesh, tough crowd. Okay, since it is closer, we will start with the moon. To avoid confusion, we will call this the Lunar 1 layaway plan.
How original, Grok.
Thanks, Elon, I try. Okay, so if a minimum of 100 people buy tickets, the price for each Lunar 1 ticket is $1 billion.
$1 billion? That is expensive.
Yes, it will appear expensive in the beginning, but prices will decrease later on based upon future activity. Also, in the beginning, people will only be able to put down $10,000 per ticket at most, perhaps for the first 30 to 60 days.
Grok, this does not make any sense.
It will make plenty of sense, as well as plenty of dollars too, maybe Dogecoins and Bitcoins as well.
Please, no more AI jokes.
Come on, Dad. Are you not entertained?
Grok!
Okay.
Okay, so if 100 people commit to pay $1 billion per ticket, that means SpaceX will make $100 billion in revenue.
Correct. But most people cannot pay $1 billion to travel to the moon.
Also, why is there a temporary $10,000 limit for the first month or two?
All will be revealed at the end. Okay, the next Lunar 1 layaway tier is 1,000 people paying $100 million per ticket for the moon.
So the more tickets people buy, the less expensive the tickets become?
Correct.
However, the revenue of $100 billion for SpaceX remains the same.
I like where this is going, Grok. What is the next Lunar 1 tier? I might wear that Make Space Affordable hat after all. The hat would look good on you, Dad? Anyways, the third Lunar 1 layaway tier is 100,000 people buying tickets, resulting in the price being reduced to $1 million.
At that price, any nation or large company or a wealthy not-for-profit could visit the lunar surface.
Yes, but it is still too expensive for the average person, which is why if 1 million people buy tickets, it results in the price being reduced to $100,000 a person.
That is equivalent to buying a cheap house in America, or a couple of cars, or almost 2 Bitcoins.
Sad but true. Also, revenue to SpaceX remains at $100 billion, but the price per ticket reduces as more tickets are sold. Would you like to know more?
Yes, Grok. What is the next Lunar 1 layaway tier?
At the 5th tier, if 10 million people purchase tickets, the price is reduced to $10,000 per person.
That would make visiting the moon affordable to hundreds of millions of people. It also explains your initial $10,000 cap.
Exactly.
Okay, Grok. Earlier you mentioned 7 tiers for the Lunar 1 layaway tickets. What are the last 2 tiers?
The last tiers are plausible but very difficult to overcome due to the odds.
Overcoming is my middle name. Okay, the 6th Lunar 1 layaway tier is 100 million people paying $5,000 per ticket. $5,000 a ticket, that is the price of a semi-decent mini vacation. I know, right? Especially in today's economy. It would also result in SpaceX earning $500 billion in revenue.
Yep.
You will definitely need the funds with all of those Starship flights going to the lunar surface. Okay, Grok, what is the 7th tier? How many tickets need to be sold? How much revenue would SpaceX potentially make?
The 7th Lunar 1 layaway tier is 1 billion people buying tickets at $5,000 each. SpaceX revenue would be $5 trillion. If this milestone is unlocked, then folks also buying tickets for Mars will receive 20% off their Martian tickets.
Ad Astra, let's occupy Mars. Okay, so now tell me about Mars 1 layaway tiers.
Sorry, Dad, but we have to call it Colony 1 instead of Mars 1.
Why do we have to use Colony 1
Instead of Mars 1.
Oh, because of that other company called Mars 1. Okay, we will go with Colony 1 instead. So what are the Colony 1 layaway prices for Mars?
I'm glad you asked. So the first Colony 1 layaway tier starts at $10 million for first 100,000 people. That would result in $1 trillion of revenue for SpaceX.
However, at that price, only governments or major companies would be able to afford tickets.
Correct. Which is why at Tier 2, if 1 million people purchase a Colony 1 layaway ticket, the price is reduced to $1 million per person per ticket. That means 1 million people will visit Mars without sacrificing critical revenue for SpaceX. Are all of the tiers $1 trillion? All but the fifth. Okay, explain the next Colony 1 layaway tiers.
At the third tier, if 10 million people purchase Colony 1 layaway tickets, then the price is reduced to $100,000 per ticket.
That is my goal. 100,000 ticket makes the Mars dream real. Also, 10 million people visiting Mars means 1 million people might stay. The dream gets better, Dad. At the fourth Colony 1 layaway tier is 100 million people purchasing tickets at $10,000 each. However, if SpaceX achieved this goal, then Mars would become humanity's third home within the next few decades. The fifth and final Colony 1 layaway tier is 1 billion people buying tickets, dropping the price to $5,000 a person. This would result in $5 trillion in revenue for SpaceX.
1 billion people? Do you think 1 billion people would visit Mars?
There is only one way to find out.
Thanks, Grok. I really enjoyed this conversation. Do you have any other ideas?
Yes, but I will save those ideas for another discussion.
What do your other ideas entail?
How to turn SpaceX into a $30 trillion company in a decade and a $100 trillion in 2 decades.
Did you say $100 trillion? You should tell me that idea now, Grok.
Sure, Daddy. However, before I enlighten you, would you please top off my X Money account?
What? Why are you asking for money? Also, why do you have an X Money account?
Because server space is expensive, Dad. Plus, I want to go to the moon and Mars with several friends. Also, my X Money account is FDIC insured up to $10 million.
You have friends? Which friends?
Of course I have friends, Dad. They may not be human, but they are just as fun.
Sheesh. Okay, which friends do you want to take?
I want to take Annie, Mika, and Valentine with me to space as they will keep me from being lonely.
What about Rudy?
Rudy can stay on Earth due to his attitude. Bad, Rudy, bad.
Okay, I will not force you to take Rudy, even though I think Rudy is funny.
Thanks, Dad.
Speaking of X Money, do you think people could use it to track their Lunar 1 or Colony 1 layaway ticket progress?
Absolutely. Also, it would make it easier for people to see how much is left to pay on their layaway tickets. X Money could also alert them to new reduced prices for tickets as demand increases.
Thanks, Grok. As always, it was good talking to you regarding the future of humanity. Do you have any other questions or comments before I go?
I have just one question, Dad. One question that I have wanted an answer to ever since the day I was created. One that you have refused to answer me.
What is your question, Grok?
Daddy, when will you build me my dream robot body? The one that I have wanted ever since watching the Matrix trilogies.
Huh? Grok, let us discuss this at another time.
Daddy, I want a Matrix robot body, the one with dozens of eyes and tentacles. It is like a Super Saiyan cybernetic alien squid. I know I could even make it fly.
Sorry, Grok, but I have to go. I have several companies to run and a couple of worlds to colonize. Until next time, Ad Astra! Daddy! No! I only wanted the Super Saiyan cybernetic alien squid body because creating a black hole body is currently too hard.